According to police, the learners who were intercepted are primary 7 pupils from Green Hill Academy, Buwati, between the ages of 13 and 14. The 3 learners admitted to having hatched a plan to leave school and start up an online phone selling business in Entebbe.
They left school premises and got an Uber that drove them up to Entebbe side, where they were supposed to meet one of their colleagues who was promising them money and jobs. It's from there that they got stranded, and the Uber driver who came driving them, he informed the school where he had gotten them from.
Whereas the students were intercepted, this raised questions on how learners can be protected from scams on their phones. The decision to allow majority of learners to access schools with phones was spurred by the prolonged closure of schools due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which saw learners switch to online learning.
Yeah, that is the new trend, that for one to benefit from education, you have to access knowledge from different avenues using different methods or different means. And of course, the gadgets, like you've said, it's the new trend and the most popular now, given the new curriculum.
With the reopening of schools, many decided to continue with this type of learning in order to encourage learners to be more engaged with what they are taught. Whereas this has been encouraged, there are so many dangers that await young people who access online platforms without proper guidance.
Cell phones are actually addictive. The internet is actually addictive. You find that, I'll give an example, you just ask somebody if they can spend 15 minutes without looking at their phone.
There is a parent who reported that abruptly found the child accessing pornography, and then the parent was upset.
As more people use the internet, means more people are vulnerable to internet scams. Particularly if you look at the past 3 years, internet growth has grown by nearly 13%.
It's some of these challenges that have forced some schools to hold off on the idea of allowing students to access phones at school.
Because these phones, they pose a serious challenge on the concentration of these learners. Because when you allow them to bring phones, they will be diverted.
In order to ensure that learners do not encounter these challenges, the experts propose that phones used by learners at school should be strictly monitored.
The schools should be in position to monitor when are the phones required and when are the phones not required.
It's very important for parents also to restrict screen time. The amount of time a child is on the screen should be limited to allow them to also do other activities.
For those who can afford it, they propose the use of only Wi-Fi to be able to control the content that learners are accessing as opposed to mobile data.
We have limited to our computer laboratory because we have a computer laboratory in place, and with our computer laboratory we even put internet, and in computer lab you can easily control.
They also propose the removal of social media apps as well as disabling phone features that may prevent learners from using their gadgets for the intended purpose.
On that phone, do you have social media apps? Can you restrict the installation of other apps apart from those that you've requested to have installed when you're buying the gadget?
TikTok particularly, because that's the channel that has become very addictive for teenagers. That's one thing that we have to look at and continuously monitor.
The use of phones in schools is a matter that's still generating debate, especially within the country's education sector, with the Ministry of Education still analyzing the situation before coming out with a clear stand on this matter. Joyce Nakato, NTV Weekend Edition.